everyone, I'm Emma. Like, share, and subscribe now.
Hey, I'm Jackson. Let's continue today's topic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today. We've got a really important episode for you, one that I think is going to change the way you speak English every single day.
Hey there. Great to have you with us again. And I have to say, today's topic is one of my favorites because it's a mistake that even really good English learners make all the time.
That's so true. And here's the thing. When I first started learning about this, I honestly thought I was saying it right. I remember talking to a friend and I said, "Yes, I agree with you." And she looked at me like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, that moment when someone gives you that little confused look, that's how you know something isn't quite right. So today, we're going to fix exactly that. We're talking about the phrase, I am agree, why it's wrong, what to say instead, and how to use agree and disagree naturally in real conversations.
And by the end of this episode, you're going to feel so much more confident when you want to share your opinion, agree with someone, or politely disagree. These are things we do every single day, in conversation, at work, with friends, in messages.
Absolutely. And here's a little question for you right now. Have you ever said, I am agree before? Drop a comment and be honest. There's no judgment here at all. In fact, I bet most of our listeners have said it at some point.
We really want to hear from you. And while you're down there in the comments, please make sure to hit that subscribe button on Simple English Talks so you never miss one of our episodes. We come out with new content all the time, and we'd love to have you with us every week.
All right, let's stop making this mistake and let's start speaking naturally. Here we go.
Okay, so let's start with the big question. Why is I am agree wrong? If you think about it, learners say this because it feels logical. I am happy. I am tired. I am agree. It follows a pattern, right?
Exactly. And that's why so many people say it, because in a lot of languages, you literally translate I am in agreement or something similar. But in English, agree is a verb, not an adjective. And that changes everything.
Right. So let's break this down really simply. When we use I am plus adjective, we're describing a state. I am happy. I am hungry. I am tired. Those are adjectives. They describe how something is. But agree is a verb. It's an action, something you do.
So the correct structure is really simple. Subject plus verb. I agree. That's it. No am, no is, no are. Just I agree, you agree, she agrees, they agree. It's a regular verb.
Let me give you some examples so this really clicks. Instead of I am agree with you, say I agree with you. Instead of she is agree, say she agrees. Instead of agree, say we all agree. See how clean and simple that sounds?
And it feels natural too, right? I agree with you. That's something you hear in every English conversation, every movie, every podcast. Now, can you say those sentences out loud right now? Pause and try it. I agree with you. She agrees. We all agree. Go ahead, say them.
Now, once you know the positive form, the negative is super easy too. You just add don't or doesn't. So instead of I am not agree, which is also very common, you say I don't agree. Instead of he is not agree, say he doesn't agree. Same simple pattern.
And here's another really natural way to disagree. I disagree. Disagree is also a verb, and it works the same way. I disagree with that idea. She disagrees with the plan. They don't agree on this. all of these are perfectly natural English.
Here's a real-life example. Imagine your friend says, "I think it's better to wake up early," and you want to agree. Don't say, "I am agree." Say, "I agree. I always feel better when I wake up early too." Doesn't that sound so much more natural?
Or maybe you want to disagree. Politely, of course. You could say, "Actually, I don't agree. I think late nights are more productive for me." And that's a totally normal, natural thing to say in English conversation.
So let's review this section quickly. Agree is a verb, not an adjective. Never say, "I am agree." Always say, "I agree," or "I don't agree." Simple structure. Subject plus verb. That's your foundation.
Great start. And now let's build on this, because there are so many other natural ways to express agreement and disagreement in English, and we're going to teach you all of them.
Okay, so now you know the basics. I agree and I don't agree. But here's the thing. In real conversations, fluent English speakers use a whole range of expressions, and knowing more options makes you sound so much more natural.
That's right. Let's start with agreement. There are different levels of agreement: complete agreement, partial agreement, and enthusiastic agreement. And English has a great phrase for each one.
So for complete agreement, you can say things like, "I totally agree." "I completely agree with you." "You're absolutely right." "That's exactly what I think." "I couldn't agree more." Oh, that last one is a beautiful phrase.
I couldn't agree more. It literally means it's impossible for me to agree any more than I already do. So it's like the strongest form of agreement. For example, I think kindness is the most important quality in a person. Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Now let's talk about partial agreement, when you kind of agree but not completely. This is so useful. You can say, "I agree up to a point, but..." "That's true, but..." "You have a good point. However, I see what you mean, but I think..."
Those phrases are amazing because they're polite. You're not just saying, "No, you're wrong." You're showing you listened, you understood, and then you're adding your own perspective. That's very mature English communication.
Here's a quick practice. I'm going to say something, and you, yes, you, the listener, try to respond out loud. Ready? "I think social media is bad for young people." Go ahead. Do you agree, partially agree, or disagree? Say something out loud.
Good practice. Now, let's compare formal and informal usage, because this matters a lot. In casual conversation with friends, you might say, "Yeah, totally," or "exactly," or "for sure," or "no way, I disagree." These are really informal and friendly.
But in a meeting at work or talking to someone you don't know well, you'd say something more like, "I tend to agree with that perspective," or "I'm not sure I agree with that approach." See the difference? The meaning is similar, but the level of formality is very different.
First, with close friends, keep it casual. "Yeah, I agree." "Totally. Nope, I don't agree with that." Second, in professional settings, be a little more formal. "I agree with your point." "I'd have to disagree on that." Third, in writing, like emails or messages, use the full form. "I agree that this is the best approach." Never use "I am agree" in writing either.
Now, here's your challenge for the comments. Write a sentence using one of these phrases. Maybe, "I couldn't agree more with," or "I partially agree, but..." Tell us something you agree or disagree with. We really love reading your comments.
So let's quickly review this section. We have strong agreement phrases like "I couldn't agree more" and "You're absolutely right." We have partial agreement phrases, "That's true," And we have formal versus informal versions of all of these. Beautiful.
All right, now let's take everything we've learned and put it into real situations. Because knowing a phrase is one thing, knowing when and how to use it is what makes you truly fluent.
Situation 1. You're having dinner with friends and they're deciding where to go next weekend. Your friend says, "Let's go to the mountains." Now, in English, how do you respond? You can say, "I agree. That sounds amazing." Or, "Sounds good to me. I agree." Or even, "Great idea. I totally agree."
Notice how I agree sits naturally at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of your response. It's flexible. You don't always have to lead with it. You can build a whole sentence and drop it in wherever it feels natural.
Situation 2. You're at work and your manager says, "I think we should move the deadline to Friday." But you don't think that's a good idea. How do you disagree politely? You might say, "I see your point, but I'm not sure I agree. I think we might need a few more days."
That is such a natural, professional way to disagree. You're not being rude. You're not being aggressive. You're just calmly sharing a different view. And that phrase, "I'm not sure I agree," is incredibly useful because it's soft and respectful.
Situation 3. Texting or messaging a friend. They say, "That new restaurant is overrated." And you completely disagree. You could reply, "I actually disagree. I thought it was fantastic." Or, "Really? I don't agree at all. I loved it there."
See how natural that sounds? Now, here's a tip for sounding even more polite when you disagree in person. Your tone of voice matters just as much as your words. Say, "I disagree," with a calm, warm voice, and it sounds perfectly fine. Say it with a sharp tone, and it can sound aggressive, even if the words are correct.
That is such a good point. Delivery is everything. When you're practicing, try saying, "I don't agree with that," out loud. First in a flat, neutral tone, and then with a warm, friendly smile in your voice. You'll hear the difference immediately.
Let's do a quick mini practice together. I'll make a statement, and you respond. Agree or disagree. Your choice. Here we go. English is easier than most people think. What do you say? Pause and say something out loud right now.
I'll go first. I actually agree with that. When you break it down into small pieces, like we do on Simple English Talks, it really isn't as scary as it seems. Did you agree or disagree? Tell us in the comments.
Here's one more. It's more important to speak confidently than to speak perfectly. What do you think? I personally agree completely. Getting your message across matters more than being 100% grammatically perfect.
And that brings us to a really important point. Making mistakes is part of learning, which is actually exactly what our next section is all about. Let's look at the most common mistakes people make with agree and disagree.
Mistake time. And look, I want to say this right at the start. Both of us have made these mistakes. Learning a language means making mistakes. That's not a bad thing. That's just how it works. So let's look at these together, laugh a little, and learn from them.
Mistake number 1, and the big one we've been talking about all episode. I am agree. Wrong. The fix? I agree. Remember, agree is a verb, not an adjective. You wouldn't say, "I am want," or "I am think," right? Same rule. I agree. Full stop.
Mistake number 2. I am not agree. Same problem, just in the negative. People say this a lot. The fix? I don't agree. Or I disagree. Both are perfect. Pick whichever one feels more natural to you in that moment.
Here's a funny example of this one in action. Imagine you're watching a movie with a friend, and they say, "This is the best film ever made," and you want to disagree. If you say,
I am not agree. It sounds a bit strange, right? But if you say, oh, come on, I don't agree. The ending was terrible. That sounds completely natural. Totally normal conversation.
Mistake number 3. I agree to you. This is a very common one. In many languages, the equivalent phrase uses a word like to after agree. But in English, we say, I agree with you, not I agree to you. The preposition is with, not to.
So, I agree with you. I disagree with your idea. I agree with this plan. Always with. Write that down. Agree with. Let's say it together. Agree with. Agree with. Good.
Now, mistake number 4. This one is a little different. Some learners say, I am agreed. They've heard the past tense and they're trying to use it, but it comes out wrong in this context. I am agreed sounds very old-fashioned and formal, like something from a Shakespeare play. In modern English, just say, I agreed, past tense, or I agree in the present.
Here's a practice prompt for each mistake type. For mistake 1, say out loud, I agree with everything you said. For mistake 2, say out loud, I don't agree with that idea. For mistake 3, fill in the blank. I agree blank you. The answer is with. And for mistake 4, say out loud, we agreed to meet at 6 o'clock.
You're doing great. Seriously, the fact that you're here, watching this, practicing, that puts you ahead of so many learners. Mistakes aren't failures, they're steps. Every single mistake you make and correct brings you closer to fluency.
Exactly. And now, you've got 4 fewer mistakes to make. That's progress. Let's go into our practice section and really lock these in.
All right, this is one of my favorite parts of the episode, interactive practice. We're going to do a choose the correct sentence activity. 2 options, and you pick the right one. Ready? Say your answer out loud. Don't just think it, say it.
Situation 1. Your friend says, coffee is better than tea. You want to agree. Option A, I am agree with you. Option B, I agree with you. Which one is correct? Say it now.
Option B, of course. I agree with you. Simple, clean, natural. Option A has that am that we absolutely don't need. Remember, agree is a verb. Subject plus verb, done.
Situation 2. Your colleague suggests a new idea in a meeting. You think it's okay, but not perfect. Option A. That's a good point, but I'm not completely sure I agree. Option B. I am not agree with this idea.
Option A is much better. It's polite, it's professional, and it sounds completely natural. Option B has our big mistake. I am not agree. The correct form would be I don't agree, but option A is even better because it's softer and more professional.
Situation 3. You're writing an email to a client. You want to say you share their view. Option A. I am agree that this is the best solution. Option B. I agree that this is the best solution.
Option B, every time. Especially in writing, you want your English to be clear and correct. I agree that this is the best solution. Professional, confident, correct.
Situation 4. You want to strongly agree with something. Option A. I couldn't agree more. Option B. I am very agree.
Option A, I couldn't agree more, is one of the most natural, fluent things you can say in English. I am very agree? Well, now you know exactly why that doesn't work.
And here's your challenge. Create your own sentence right now in the comments. Use one of these. I agree with or I don't agree with.
Or, I couldn't agree more about. Tell us something you feel strongly about. We really do read the comments, and we love seeing your sentences.
Speak it out loud first, then write it. That combination of speaking and writing is one of the best ways to really make language stick. Don't aim for perfection, aim for communication. Real conversation is always more important than a perfect sentence.
Absolutely. If people understand you, you're succeeding. And using I agree instead of I am agree, that's already a huge upgrade to your English.
Wow, what an episode! I'm honestly so proud of everyone who made it all the way through to the end. Let's talk about everything we covered today because there was a lot of great stuff in there.
We did cover a lot. First, we learned that agree is a verb, not an adjective. So we never say I am agree. We say I agree. That's the most important takeaway from today. Second, we learned how to express different levels of agreement and disagreement. From I couldn't agree more for strong agreement to I see your point, but for partial agreement, to I don't agree with that for polite disagreement. Third, we looked at how context matters. Casual with friends, more formal at work, thoughtful tone in writing. English isn't one size fits all. And now you have options for every situation.
You came here today and you learned something real, something that's going to change the way you speak English, not in some far-off future, but starting today, starting with your very next conversation. That's what Simple English Talks is all about.
Here's a little reflective question for you to think about, or even write in the comments. What's something you agree with strongly? It can be about English, about life, about anything. Use one of today's phrases and share it with us. We genuinely love hearing from you.
And before we say goodbye, if you found this episode helpful, please give it a like and share it with a friend who might also be saying, I am agree, without realizing it. You could really help someone today. And of course, subscribe to Simple English Talks so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. We've got so many great topics coming up, and we want you to be here for all of them.
Learning English is a journey, and every single episode, every single sentence, every single comment you write, it all adds up. You're making progress even when it doesn't feel like it. We believe in you, and we're so happy to be part of your learning journey. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Simple English Talks. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you next time.